I'll just speak briefly because one of the reasons I came to Kolkata early, we actually were supposed to stay in Mayapur a couple more days, but I heard all of you were here with Vaisesika Prabhu, and he's one of my favorite speakers in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and I think all of you can understand why. Yes? Again, we've come to a most sacred place. Ulṭādāngā, this was originally a building that actually was the first preaching center or the first temple that was established by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur. He appeared in Puri, and with his father they moved to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they moved to Mayapur. They were preaching from there, but eventually in the mission, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur came to Calcutta, and with his disciples they rented this building, especially one particular disciple, Kunji Bihari. He was working at that time, and he gave practically all of his earnings for renting this building monthly. It was 40 rupees a month. Now that doesn't sound like very much right now, but in those days it was like a lot of money. Eventually he got other help, but in that way he helped Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī establish the center. And this was where the printing started, printing press. I believe it's over at Bagh Bazaar now, but the printing press was here. Vaisesika Prabhu told me that Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur bought that press in Illinois, in Cleveland, Ohio. I couldn't imagine. He ordered it, and it was sent all the way here. That was like IT in those days, high-tech technology. So the preaching went on here, and it was during that time that our beloved Śrīla Prabhupāda was going to school, university here, and he was invited by one of his friends to come and hear a nice sadhu speak here at this particular place. Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī, this was his quarters here. He would sleep in there, and he would come out and give darshan in the evenings, exactly at this spot here. This is like we used to say in our old days, a chakra, a spiritual energy by his presence, full of bhakti, and very determined preacher. He would preach in such a way that whenever anyone who had any contrary philosophy, when he would come to town, they would all run away. They called him the Lion Guru. The Lion Guru, this defeating nirvishesha shunyavadi. Impersonalism and voidism, anything contrary to the principle of pure bhakti, he'd make them run away. But his students surrounded him here every evening, late afternoon like this. So this friend of Śrīla Prabhupāda said, come see this nice sadhu. But Prabhupada was a little disillusioned with the sadhus that he'd met, because his father was very open-minded, Gaur Mohan Day, and he would invite sadhus to his home regularly to take prasādam. He'd actually open the door in their home. Anyone who's hungry, any sadhus who's hungry, come to my house, we'll feed you. So many sadhus came. Some genuine, others not. So Prabhupada was a little, I've seen sadhus. But his friend said, no, this is a genuine sadhu. This is a genuine sadhu. So he came, and they sat here. This exact spot, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī was speaking there. As he was speaking, our Śrīla Prabhupāda came in with his friend, and as is customary here in India, even today, people offer respects to someone in the renounced order of life. It's part of their DNA, that respect. It's wonderful. So Prabhupada came and he paid obeisances, and as I was saying earlier today, before he even got up, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur noted him. He noted him. He said, why don't you're a nice, educated young man, why don't you spread the message of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu in the English language. And that penetrated Śrīla Prabhupāda's heart. And when they left, other discussions went on, and Prabhupada argued a little bit, but he was defeated by his guru. That's the duty of the guru, is to dispel the illusions of the disciple. Of course, this is a pastime, let us remember. And as they were leaving, they're walking down these very stairs over there. His friend turned to our Śrīla Prabhupada and he said, what do you think of that sadhu? And Śrīla Prabhupada said, I think I've met a genuine sadhu. And later on he revealed that from that first meeting, he understood who his spiritual master was. And in due course of time, we're jumping ahead here, but he was recommended for initiation. And when the recommendation came to Śrīdhara Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur, he said, yes, I will give him Diksha because he hears nicely, he listens nicely. There was one Mataji I saw today, I don't know where she is. She was listening very nicely as Vaisesika Prabhu was speaking. Shravanam, Kirtanam brings Krishna Shmaranam. So I often think of this moment here. For me, this is a shamskara, you could say, a deeply embedded moment in my spiritual life. To come here and be present at this particular spot, to sing the holy names, from our hearts, knowing that only by that combined mercy of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī and Śrīla Prabhupāda, we're all sitting here today. And I think we've all experienced that moment in our lives. Brahmanda Brahmati Konya Bhagavan Ji, Guru Krishna Prasad, Payi Bhakti Lat Bij. And Chaitanya Charitamrita Kaviraj Goswami speaks this, Brahmanda Brahmati Konya, that the living entity, since we fell from grace, we've been traveling from universe, Brahmanda, one universe to the next, one species of life to the next, one body to the next, but by the causeless mercy of the Lord. We all forget him, but he never forgot us. He never forgot us. So he's always thinking of ways to get us back home. He's always canvassing. He'll come personally, or he'll send his empowered representative. And somehow or other, each of us sitting here today, we came in contact with the Krishna conscious movement, just like our dear Śrīla Prabhupāda came in contact with it. It was a defining moment in his life. We've also experienced that divine moment, the intervention, the word is used, intervention, where the Lord, in some few cases, 5,000 years ago, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gathered many disciples by his godhood, and we also came in contact with a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A defining moment. Either his representative or their representative. All of us came in contact with a book, with a devotee. We walked into a festival and we had a change of heart. That was the beginning of our spiritual life. And many times when I, meet God brothers or God sisters or ask them to speak, their favorite subject matter is how they joined the Hare Krishna movement. It's very vivid in their mind. 50 years down the road, that experience, that defining moment it made such a deep impression in them, how they met Prabhupada, how you've met your spiritual masters. At that time you had a change of heart and you made a transformation. You've experienced it. That special moment, Brahmanda Brahmati Kon, Bhagavanji, Guru Krishna Prasad by Bhakta. Either Guru or Krishna, they say, stop, you're nonsense. My nonsense? I'm not nonsense. Yes, you are, da-da-da-da-da-da. I am nonsense. So what should I do? Chant Hare Krishna. It's a miracle. I said earlier today, we all come here to forget God to greater or lesser degrees. Someone comes along and in a moment, they intervene. And we're convinced, yes, I should change my ways and become a devotee. Oh, happy days. That's the happy day. Falling from grace, cardinal sin, envy of Krishna, falling. Then we come in contact with the devotee. We find our spiritual teacher. We accept the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness. We start chanting Hare Krishna. Then it's only going upwards. From that day we came in contact. So what is this? You tell me. Big smile. Oh, happy day. When our Śrīla Prabhupāda came and sat at this very place and heard from his Guru Maharaj. And then the transformation takes place. Prabhupada didn't immediately join, but he took that instruction to heart. And through his life, he was always meditating on how and when he would execute that order. He was in a married life. He was a responsible householder. He was working. But he was always thinking. He didn't forget the instruction. Didn't forget. And when the time came, in his 50s, late 50s, he took sannyas. Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur kept instructing Śrīla Prabhupāda from within. Prabhupada would say, many times, I would have a dream. He's a householder. I have a dream. My Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī, he's telling me, come, take sannyas. Take sannyas. Take sannyas. Prabhupada said, I was horrified. It's Prabhupada's language. I was horrified. But he accepted that instruction and he left. For us, for his bigger family, of all his children and his grandchildren, we are so very, very blessed. So these are special moments, the intervention. So that's kind of the pastime here. It took us a while, but we can see you're all blossoming now. Just like it's only natural for a caterpillar. Caterpillar is a very ugly creature. I think there's 36 legs, big hairy legs. But its destiny is that at one point it turns into a butterfly. It wraps itself into a cocoon, type of samadhi, I would say, something akin to that. It meditates on its higher nature, and one day the cocoon opens, and that caterpillar is a butterfly, and it flies away. So that's all due to Mother Nature. But by the mercy of our Guru Parampara, these great teachers, and by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, Radha and Krishna, Śrī Krishna Caitanya, Radha Krishna Nahayanga, we were all caterpillars before, and now we're flying like butterflies, back home, back to God. And Prabhupada said one time, speaking about my generation, all you boys and girls before you came, I saw you hippies, dirty, unregulated, addicted to sinful activity, total ignorance. But now that you have come to this Krishna conscious movement and you are dressed in your dhotis and kurtas and saris and kantimala and sikas, he said, now you look just like you've come from Vaikuntha. Just like you've come from Vaikuntha. So we are Vaikuntha people. When Prabhupada asked to speak about Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur, he kept it short. Eloquence is truth spoken concisely. He said, my Guru Maharaj, he was a Vaikuntha man. That says it all. And we would like to have the distinguished title of being a Prabhupada man, Prabhupada men and Prabhupada women. And we are by his grace. And we're part of this pastime. You think of it like that? We're part of the prediction we said this morning. We're also part of this pastime. Because Prabhupada came and intervened in our lives. And his representatives came and intervened in your lives. And look at the change. We should be ever grateful for that change. I recently, last year, gave sannyas to one of my disciples, Uttama Shloka, now Sagar Maharaj. He looked so beautiful in his saffron cloth and his danda. And then he showed me a picture before he joined the movement. He looked like Yamaduta. I said, that's a real change. If you want to see a miracle, just take your high school picture and compare it to what you look like now. All by the strong desire. Strong desire. We are what we are by the strong desire of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur, and Śrīdhara Prabhupāda, who came here and had that change. Of course, it's all a pastime. He's a Nitya Siddha. He's an eternally liberated soul in the spiritual world, as I mentioned this morning. He came here only on the desire instruction, but these are pastimes to teach us how we should be thankful for the intervention. Stop your nonsense. Yes, sir, what do we do now? Chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and fly back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.